Hey, hello everybody. This is Phil Cooper Jr. from CoopsGreenTeam.com. Joining me today with you on this interview is Adam Chandler, online marketing rock star, entrepreneur, and so happy to have you with me, Adam, here in my second interview for my interview series. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. And let me just say that I am honored, to be the second interview in this awesome series. It is my privilege, it's my pleasure, and I would also say that you are a tremendous entrepreneur and a leader as well. And I'm very blessed, to have to be working with people like yourself, with so much value to offer other entrepreneurs.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. I'd just like to share Adam was one of the first really online rock stars that I met when I got into the business. He reached out to me. I took some training and coaching from Adam, and it helped me significantly. And, that was right about a year ago when I had no followers on Twitter. And today I'm sitting around 60,000 followers on Twitter and leads every day thanks to you, Adam. So thanks for that. So we'll get started here with my questions.
Yeah.
First I'd like to ask you, Adam, what are you reading right now?
Yeah, great question. So I'm actually, when I started as an entrepreneur, I really got into, personal development books and stuff. And, I've actually got my bookshelf right here with a whole bunch of great books in it. But actually lately I've really just been doing audiobooks. So does that still count?
That does. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So what I'm reading, what I'm consuming might be a better way to put it. I'm actually consuming an audio by Gary Vaynerchuk called the Ask Gary V book. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So just learning, a bunch of cool stuff about social media and stuff. But honestly, most of the value that I get from that is just inspiration from Gary, because he's just so, he's so inspiring, and he's so, gets you pumped up, and I like that.
No doubt.
And then I'm also rereading, re-consuming a book called The Big Leap. And that is a book about it's about your personal limitations, and it's about being able to push past those. But it's also about it's by a guy named Gay Hendricks, and it's about kind of recognizing self-sabotage, recognizing patterns of self-sabotage, right? Which we all have, right? Yes. And really getting into understanding. It's deeper understanding. How a lot of times what happens to us is that we kind of get this feeling after, like, if things in your business are going good, right? We have a tendency to like go screw up some other area of our life, right? Because things can't be going that good. You know what I mean? And or vice versa. If things are going really good in a relationship, let me go screw up something in my business or my finances because things can't be going this good. It's really about that, and about understanding that, and about having a heightened awareness that we do that, because we all do it, right? And being able to push past it so that you can reach the new bigger version of yourself and new accomplishments without the ugly monster of self-sabotage rearing its ugly head.
Yeah, and that's called The Leap, you said?
It's called The Big Leap.
Oh, The Big Leap.
The Big Leap by a guy named Gay Hendricks. Really good. Great book. Great book for anybody looking to get to the next level in business and finances and relationships and all that good stuff.
Cool, man. It's great to hear. I love learning about new books.
Yep.
So next question for you, Adam, is kind of along the same lines. And what classes or programs are you enrolled in right now? Or what was the last course you took, be it in marketing and personal development? Yeah. Whatever type of stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been a big proponent over the years of, just getting around to other leaders as much as possible. As well as continuing with my personal development is a big focus, of course. A lot of Landmark programs lately, and I know that you have, that you're experienced with Landmark, but Landmark is a, international, personal and professional, growth company, right? That's kind of their focus. And I'm in a program. I'm currently assisting with some of the programs that I've already done with Landmark, just to kind of re-presence myself to them. But I'm also an introduction leader, which means I went through a 7-month course recently called the Introduction Leaders Program. And that is, very intensive personal development. And now I'm an introduction leader, so I'm leading introduction. So it's kind of like I'm in a course called Being an Introduction Leader. so which is working on, my public speaking skills, as well as a lot of other stuff, a lot of other mental barriers that, what I like about Landmark and what I like about, some of their methodology and some of what they have is that they literally create situations where you are forced to deal with the stuff that's in your way of getting to the next level, right? Mm-hmm. They create situations where it brings those things up to the surface so that you have to deal with them. You can't just, pretend that they're not there. Yeah. Kind of a thing. So that's, so Landmark has been kind of the next, after years and years of personal development, Landmark was kind of the next evolution for me personally in my personal growth. And I'm also always looking for new courses on, marketing and business development, as well as entrepreneurship and leadership.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. I just realized or remembered that actually my first interview was the person that shared Landmark with me too.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
So, I may know the answer to this already. You might have already answered it, but what's the most valuable course you've ever taken, Adam?
There's been so many, and there's been so many. The most valuable course, it's kind of a tough. That's kind of a tough question.
Top three.
top three. Well, let's see. I bought a course from Ryan Deiss on email marketing. That was a pretty serious investment. It was I think it cost me $2,400 at the time for a course on email marketing. It was called The Machine. And it was very valuable to me because it helped me make a lot of sales from my email list. It helped me to create an engaging experience with my email list. And not only that, but I was also, from that course, I kind of created my own course. It was kind of like my own miniature version of the Ryan Deiss course, specifically for home business owners. And I used a lot of the methodology that he teaches and a lot of the resources that that he offers in his course, kind of in my own course, right? So I created my own miniature version of the course that I regularly sell and turn into money in my business. So that was probably one of the most valuable courses because of that. Mm-hmm. And come to think of it, I also got another very high ticket traffic course called the Internet Traffic Formula, something like that. I can't even remember exactly, to be honest with you. But that was also, I learned a lot about driving traffic from that course. And then I also kind of created my own version of that one as well. So I've got my traffic course. I've got my own traffic course that I regularly sell, modeled on the Internet Traffic Formula course that I bought. And again, don't quote me on the name because that might not particularly it. I can't remember exactly. It was a few years ago. And then the Machine, the Ryan Deiss course, that definitely is the name of the Ryan Deiss course. It's called The Machine, both of which I learned a ton from and turned into my own products.
Cool.
And that's I'll kind of parlay that into a kind of a lesson for you.
Yeah.
one thing that I do is I go outside of the home business industry, because my niche is home business, right? I go outside of the home business industry and I buy courses that a lot of other people in home business maybe wouldn't even be aware of, because I go seek them out, and then I get value from them, and then I turn them into my own products to serve the home business industry. You see what I mean? So I'm like modeling other products that work for other markets.
Yeah.
And I ask myself, how can I take this and make it completely get rid of all the other stuff that's in there that's not relevant to home business owners, and just take the stuff that's, going to be most relevant to, people that are building, direct sales companies and online.
Really cool. Really cool, Adam. Like to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, who are your mentors? Or who is there any one person that has been most influential in your life?
Yeah, I wouldn't say any one person that has been most influential. I've had a lot of great mentors over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It started out, Brian Finale was one of my biggest mentors, back in the day. He's still someone that I consider a mentor, but he's not as present of a mentor these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ray Higdon is the exact same way. I was coaching with Ray on a weekly basis, 4 or 5 years ago. I was under Ray in a company, and I was one of the producers, and I was getting, and basically Ray and I had an agreement that as long as I continued to produce in his company, he would continue to coach me for free.
Cool.
Yeah. And that was a few years ago. Now, he charges thousands of dollars for coaching. I don't think I could get the same, and he's not building a network marketing company, so I don't think I could get that same deal these days. But the reality is I was having weekly one-on-one coaching calls with Ray, on a very consistent basis over a significant period of time, 4 or 5 years ago. And that made a big difference for me. Again, Ray is still someone I consider a mentor, but he's not as present of a mentor these days. Mm-hmm. Right. And now I've got, people like Aaron Rashkin, who is a major mentor of mine, has been a mentor of mine for years, probably just as long as Ray and Brian Finale. But now he's much more of a present mentor because he's somebody that I'm currently building a company with him. Right.
Yes.
And I'm, and I also have, regular conversations, private conversations with him, and he, I even help him out sometimes with some of his stuff, but then he also helps me with, bigger picture stuff and direction and things like that, which is, very invaluable, my relationship with Aaron at this current time in my business.
Cool.
And one thing I'll also mention there, because I just mentioned Aaron Rashkin and Ray Higdon, both of those guys recommended that I do Landmark back in like 2009.
Oh. I was wondering about that. I hear Aaron talk and I hear Landmark come up, and that was actually something I was just wondering about that I was going to ask. So, cool.
Yeah. So two of the biggest mentors in my life, two of the most successful people that I know, mm-hmm. both highly recommend Landmark, as do I.
That's awesome. I feel the same way. As my first real marketing mentor was Bob Quintana, who had told me to take Landmark. And then, I've been learning from far, over the internet from people like you, Brian Finale, and actually Ray Higdon also. And I'm also a student of Ray. So cool. Landmark's, hope people hearing this realize the impact that Landmark has had on these awesome leaders here. Yeah. What really makes you most successful, Adam? What is it?
I'll tell you, that's a good question. There's a couple things, there's a couple things that I think are advantages for sure. I take a lot of action, right? I'm not the kind of person who needs to have everything figured out before I take the first step. I'm very good at just going, like, regardless of like even I can have a lot of unanswered questions and still just plow forward and just kind of figure it out as I go. And that's a big one. I take a lot of action, and I make a lot of mistakes in the process, but that's what you got to do as an entrepreneur. You got to make a lot of mistakes. You know, you got to learn from your mistakes. You got to try. I mean, it's just a bunch of trial and error, you know, being a successful marketer, being a successful entrepreneur requires a lot of trial and error. And then, you know, removing the meaning from all the failures, because when you're taking that much action and you're failing and you're doing that much trial and error, there's inevitably going to be failure. And that's kind of where, I'll tie back to Landmark. That's where Landmark comes in, is removing all the meaning from like, oh, I didn't know this failed and this failed and this failed. You got to just keep moving forward. That's one thing that Landmark is good, is kind of putting that into perspective, all the failure, because it's just an inevitable part of the process. You got to fail. You got to fail your way to success. Okay, so that's one. Is that I'm very good at just taking action. I'm not a perfectionist, right? I'm not that concerned with perfection. I'll just, it was something that I learned, which I realized I had been doing the whole time, but I learned it from an entrepreneur recently. He said minimum viable product. Like if I'm going to put out a new training product, it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to put a man on the moon. It just has to be good enough for the marketplace. You know what I mean? And I can always make improvements as I go. Okay. So that's kind of still in the realm of, of the first thing, which is just take a lot of action. And number two, a big secret to my success is modeling other successful people. Okay. Like really, like that's something that I was doing very well from the very beginning. Is I would basically stalk people like Brian Finale and other leaders, and just look at what they were doing and ask myself, not like, okay, they're doing Facebook ads, well, I should be doing Facebook ads, but way, way deeper than that. Like how can I be, hey, what's up, dude?
Paxton.
Hey, what's up, Paxton? I'm Adam. Nice to meet you.
Just got home from school.
Oh, very cool. All right. So like I said, not just doing Facebook ads because they're doing Facebook ads, but literally like watching their stuff and asking myself, how can I be more like them? Right? What is it that they're doing? Because it's not so much about what you're doing, it's about how you're doing it. Right? So asking myself, how can I be more like them? What is so if we're talking about something like Facebook ads, what is it about their performance in Facebook ads that I'm not doing? Like what's missing from my performance that's present in theirs? So you see how that's like a lot deeper than just like, oh, well, they're doing videos, so I should be doing videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. It's really kind of why I'm doing these interviews. What really got me thinking about it was, what better way than to learn from people like you?
Seriously.
Being able to ask you all the questions I want while I got you on.
Yeah, that's great.
When did you become an entrepreneur, or when did you really realize you're an entrepreneur?
Yeah, good question. Man, you got some good questions here. I became an entrepreneur in 2008. So I lost two newspaper. I came from like a newspaper advertising background. In 2008. I lost two newspaper advertising jobs after in my first 6 months of living in a completely new state. I moved 2,000 miles from where I was from in the Northeast to where I currently live in Colorado, and I lost two jobs kind of in my field in that first 6 months. And that was when I kind of started thinking maybe another job is not the answer. And I started researching ways to make money online and from home. And I bought a big book about how to make money on eBay. I think I sold one thing on eBay and I ended up losing money. I sold it for, it was like after all the costs of putting it on eBay and everything, I actually lost money. Not the last time not the last time I ever lost money as an entrepreneur,
right.
But that's for sure.
Right.
that was kind of what when I decided, to start a business. But it was actually, I found a little advertising. I was looking for advertising jobs. I found a little ad that said we could show you how to make money online. I was skeptical, but I was also very intrigued, and I didn't have a whole lot to lose at the time. And next thing I know is borrowing $2,000 to start my first direct sales business. And that was probably my first real, like, I'm an entrepreneur. I think, in my own opinion, that was my first really, step or like action as an entrepreneur, as I borrowed money to get started in a business. And then I started seeing other entrepreneurs, and learning about their stories. I got very inspired by what they were accomplishing and their stories of where they were and where they are now, and all that stuff. So that was what kind of got me on the path. That was like summer of 2008.
Cool.
So this year I'll be 9 years since I started my first business.
Cool. How many companies have you been a part of in that time?
That's a tough question too. So I mean, I started that company. It was called Wealth Masters, but they also had a marketing arm of their company that taught me internet marketing called Carbon Copy Pro. So essentially it was two different entities. So it was like, when I got into that company, I was kind of like, I was getting involved in two companies right from the beginning. And then shortly after that, I joined MLSP when that first launched.
Okay.
Because I was probably in the first 50 people that joined MLSP when it first launched. Yeah. So there's three right there. That's just my first 6 months. Right. So I don't know. I mean, and then there was a company that I was really in. I mean, if you're talking about companies that I was really in, right? Like I was really in it.
Yeah.
I would say there was Numis. I was in that company for 3.5 years, Numis Network, before that went under. I was in Remarkable. I was the #1 producer in Remarkable. So now we're talking. So let's say Carbon Copy Pro and Wealth Masters. We'll say that's one. MLSP, Numis, Remarkable, and Nagic. So I'd say probably about 6.
Okay.
Probably 6 in that time. Those are companies that I really did.
Yeah.
Not just companies that I joined. Because if you're talking about companies that I joined, probably more like 15.
So you're like me. You have a hard time saying no to opportunities.
Yeah, there's a lot of great opportunities out there, but the reality is that you can't chase a bunch of different things. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very, and it's tough because there are a lot of great opportunities out there.
Yeah.
But it is important to kind of plant your flag and say, this is the one that for me.
Yeah.
And I've also done a pretty good job of that. It's like when I do find something that I resonate with, something that I really see a path, right? Something where I could tell that the leadership is good and I'm going to learn a lot from the leadership of the company, then I plant my flag and I build for the long haul.
Cool. What do you like most about your current company?
What I like most about my current company is $1,000 commissions. Right?
Yeah, that'll do it.
There's a big difference from, bringing somebody into a business and, making $50 or $100, than when you bring somebody in and you make $1,000 commission. And think about that from when your team starts making commissions. You get your team member to make a sale and they make $1,000 commission. It's going to be a lot easier to motivate that team member it's going to be a lot easier to keep that person around. Whereas if if they make a $50 or $100, maybe not even enough to pay their cell phone bill that month, like it can be a lot more difficult, and it's not exactly, so I think about that. So that's one of my, I like high ticket things because of the leverage that I can create, from doing that. So I'm definitely a high ticket guy over like a low MLM guy, big time. And I also remember the day I made my first $1,000. Like I had, I was, I made $1,000 commission from somebody who bought a $2,000 thing. And I remember the excitement that I felt. I'd never made $1,000 in a single day before. Are you kidding me? Not even close. And then somebody in Denmark, by the way, I'd never even had a conversation with them. They lived in Denmark. They bought a $2,000 thing. I made $1,000 commission, and I pretty much decided right then and there that I wouldn't have another real job for the rest of my life.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Which brings us to, do you have any traditional businesses, Adam, or do you have any plans on traditional businesses?
Nope. No, I don't. For some people it's great, and I'm glad that there are a lot of traditional businesses out there. I'm glad that I could go walk and get a sandwich, right? But I don't want to be the guy selling sandwiches.
I gotcha. What kind of hobbies do you have?
Snowboarding.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a big one. I live in Colorado. I'm into outdoor things. I like snowboarding is big for me. Other outdoor activities. I like to ride my bike. I like to hike. I like to go on hikes and hike mountains and stuff.
Nice.
I'm also it's been a while since I picked it up, but I also play the mandolin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. How do you get your adrenaline fix? I asked that because I'm addicted to adrenaline. And it seems that I think entrepreneurs in general are kind of after adrenaline. Maybe that's just my perspective. And anyways, I just like to ask the question, how do you get your adrenaline fix?
Well, snowboarding is a big one. I get a lot out of snowboarding. I mean, I get to be in the mountains. I get the fresh, I get to breathe the fresh mountain air. I get to dodge trees because I'm big into tree skiing. So I'd go really fast through the trees.
Cool.
Right. Cool. And so that's huge for me. I went skydiving once, but I wouldn't say that's a hobby of mine because I only did it once, and that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
but pretty much snowboarding is how I get my adrenaline. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I guess when I ride motorcycles or four-wheelers, it's similar to what you said, right? That's how I get my adrenaline fix.
Yeah, right. That's great. And I would suggest to you, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do your readers know? Do your social media followers know that? Do your email subscribers know that? Do they know that you're into motorcycles? Do they know that you're into, do they know that you're an adrenaline junkie? Because if they don't, they should.
Great. Thank you. That was more of a lesson than a question. Thanks, Adam.
I guess I didn't even answer. I didn't even let you answer the question. I just kind of said that's what you should do.
You're right.
If they know maybe a little bit, or if you've kind of shared a little bit, I would suggest that you share more. And that goes for anybody watching this. Is if you're you really want to if you're into something, your audience should know what you're into. It's got to be more than just about business, right? Because you can provide a lot of value in business, but it's going to be the fact that somebody is like, oh, that guy's into motorcycles too. That's going to separate, that's going to make him want to follow you over follow the next guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's some great advice, and something that I haven't focused on enough.
Yeah. No, I would say I haven't either. I mean, it's something that we all need to get better at.
Well, I got a ATV trip to Tennessee in the mountains coming up in April. I'll be sure to get a lot more content out of that trip.
Yeah, definitely. And even next time you're making a video or a piece of content, just share that. Just say, hey, I'm so, okay. So I'm gonna share something really cool with you here. So like if I was doing a video, I'm gonna share something really cool about how you could do X, Y, Z in your business. But back to that in just a minute. I just got to share. I'm just so excited about this ATV trip I'm going to be doing in a few months. Okay. I'm like, this is what we're going to do. And da, 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 da. So you'll be, stick around because I'll be sharing a lot of stuff from when I go on that trip in a couple months. Okay. Now back to the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I hope the viewers are paying attention to how good of a job coaching that you do. Here, just even in an interview, you're still coaching, and I appreciate that. And
absolutely,
for sure. Pretty much wrapping it up. And why don't you share with the followers how they can better follow you, how they can better connect with you, where to go.
Yeah, sure. Well, one thing I'll say is, I'm currently compiling this like internet marketing dream team, right? I mean, I've got the leaders that are above us, and then I've got like, kind of another tier of like of leadership kind of under them, which myself and other leaders kind of fall into. And we're looking for people that are serious about online marketing, and you are a part of that team, right? You join me in that, in that company. We're doing some really cool things, creating a lot of leverage for a lot of entrepreneurs, and creating situations where you can make those $1,000 commissions, which, can be, major game changers. So honestly, what I would say is if you want to kind of see what we're up to, what I'm up to in business, talk to Phil, ask him, hey, how can I be part of that internet dream team that Adam's talking about?
Great answer, Adam. Great answer, man. So, I really want to thank you. I know you're a busy guy, got lots of things going on, nonstop, and I appreciate you taking some time to help me with this interview.
Yeah.
Sharing so much valuable information with people. And, I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. Well, I very much appreciate you as well, as, for your leadership in this industry, and for, the value that you are providing to entrepreneurs, and people that are, people that are coming into this world and that are, at different stages of the game, because we're all in very different stages of the game. But, I appreciate what you do, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing you in Miami in June.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Have a great weekend, Adam. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.